Hey guys, a lot of you guys been asking about how I bought the Chevy Volt. How much it cost, how I bought it, how could I afford it. Um, it's actually pretty simple. It's actually not really that simple. It is a $35,000 car or $34,000 car, but we'll go ahead and talk about this right now. I know it's been a question that you guys been asking, and of course, one of the things that you guys been asking about. As you know, basically, I made a decision. To get a Chevy Volt instead of getting a Porsche or a BRZ. So how do I pay for it? Let's go over it real fast. So basically, buying a Chevy Volt comes with all this fun stuff. I know it comes with free maintenance and stuff, but at the same time, what I bought it for was because of the drivetrain. And when you look at the retail price on this thing, basically the MSRP is $34,000, and $95. That's after destination and everything. But of course, this is for the LT package. In other words, the base of the base package, and it doesn't mean that it has nothing. It has a lot of stuff. Basically, of course, the drivetrain, which is why I bought it. Plenty of warranty and stuff like that, roadside assistance, blah 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 blah. Everything that you ever need in a car is already here, and so I don't see why people need anything more. And everything from the maybe, I don't know, the cruise control and stuff, I'm not really interested. All I need is something that drives well, reliable, and basically has new technology that's enough to to be awesome, and fold down seats, good acceleration, fold down seats, that sort of stuff. Anywho, long story short, basically that's why I got it, and also for the fuel savings as well. So I was looking at this and say, hey, I could probably do that, drive 53 miles to home and back from work, and I'll save myself that time. So that's what I did. That's why I bought it. And usually on the first week, I actually made about, it was actually close to 60 miles to the EV charge, because I hypermounted the first week. So long story short, how could I afford this, right? So what I did was that I went first to, I was searching for this for years. Ever since 2013, I was looking for, the Chevy Volt. So I was already interested in Gen 1. I wanted to buy a used one, in 2000. My target was 2016, 2017. That I was gonna buy a Chevy Volt. So I was actually gonna buy a used one, but when I got there, they really didn't. They wanted about close to 18,000 for it, and I thought, no way, no. It's closer to a lot less. But it was because there was several market factors. One, the HOV stickers in California was in high demand, and they were putting an upcharge on that, and the Chevy 2016, 2017 Volts really didn't have the stickers anymore because they were on that, there was no stickers for them, and they didn't know whether the law would have changed or whatnot. And there was also, there was no HOV stickers, and which really drove the price down. Another thing was that in terms of the finance, in terms of the other incentives, basically the California incentives, the $1,500, was unknown too. So that was, that was also a bargain piece. And in terms of market, I was looking at it for several years, and I looked at the price people paid for years upon years, and every year it seems to have a lot of sales in summertime. Summertime was a high sale, and December time was a great time to actually buy too. So it was December, and it was also summertime, like June or so. So I looked for the past 3 years, and it was always like right here in the summer and in the December again for this one. This was like in 2015, 2016. I'm sorry, 2014, then 15, then 16. So I figured in 16 it'll probably be about the same thing, unless there's something totally big that changed. It would not have by affected, and probably quite possibly the sales would probably be in December or in summertime. So summertime I was looking for deals and incentives. So the incentives I was looking for was the government ones, which was the California 1500, as well as the federal one, which was the 7500, the $7,500 one. But that was already fixed. These were available already. But this was based on taxes, so you actually had to pay that much taxes to actually get that reduced. You might want to talk to your tax accountant for details on that, or go to the federal website for EVs and look up that actual rebate to see if you qualify. Long story short, So I waited for summer, and then I was kind of constantly looking at, several sites, one of which was like TrueCar, the other one was like Costco, and I also visited, the dealership once or twice just to, see how it looks and see how much inventory they had and stuff, because I was really interested in getting a used one, a used 2013, but they also had the 2016 one, just came out, and then 2017 came out, early in 2016. So when I test drove it, it's like I knew that they had, the first thing first, the market was right. This was summertime, and I wanted to buy it. I test drove the 2013 model that they had used, and I liked it, but I loved the 2016, 2017 model they had that was used, and that was a premium edition, which was really cool. But I didn't want to go for it. I was doing some research first, and definitely, I was going for the LT, the base model, with nothing on it. Basically, I just wanted it for the drivetrain, with the Votec drivetrain, and to save the gas and plug in and stuff. That's all I really wanted, and that was 34K, straight out the door. That's 34K on the sticker. So no way I wanted to pay that. Some people do, but me and my money, I want to make sure I get the most bang for my buck. But at the same time, I want to make sure the dealerships get, they feed their families, of course. So I knew that the market trends, GM would probably give lots of incentives during summertime, or December, or in winter, closer to like December, or like from November to December. So summertime, they actually offered up close to that. There was like a 20% discount, right? There was a 20% deal. Just like last year, in 2015, they had the same thing. They had a 20% tag sale or whatever. They just took right off of MSRP. So I figured that's 20% of that. That's roughly around, I think, 6,000 or 7,000. So that would have brought it down to about, I'm guessing 27K or something like that. That's my guess. When they had that 20% deal, or was it 15%? I don't remember. But long story short, what I did was that I figured, if they could go down that much last year, they could probably do it this year. And I was guessing on that one. So I was looking at deals like that on the GM website and on TrueCar and stuff, as well as I was looking at GM for other incentives, right? So they actually had a conquest incentive, which was like 1,500. A loyalty one, I think, was like for another 1,000 or something, and a what was it? Strictly a Chevy Volt one. Chevy Volt was another 1,000. So I was like, wow, there's could be the possibility of 3,500 off of that maybe. So I saw that as a pretty interesting time to basically say, hey, let me talk to them and see if I could get to approximately that price, right? So going there, and seeing that they didn't have the red tag seller stuff, I figured, they're probably gonna float around 27 to buy 30,000, roughly, for the car. Since it's a $34,000 car, they're probably gonna talk down to about 30,000. So long story short was that I went to the dealership, and I did through TrueCar first, but they just basically offered up different contacts, and they just offer up your name to like three dealerships, and they basically came with pretty okay pricing. It's not bad, but either way, you could get better pricing if you actually went there and just talked to them and negotiated. And what I did was I basically negotiated for about, I think, 20 or 30 minutes, and just be really, really frank of why I think I should be paying for and how much I'm going to pay for roughly for the total cost of the car. So I went in there and basically asked them, hey, would it be feasible for you guys to, actually I didn't say those words, but I just asked, hey, I'm interested in buying the car. I test drove it really quick. Test drove both the 2013 and 2015. I'm sorry, 2013 and then 2016 premium, and a 2017, which was new. So I said, hey, I'm interested in the base model 2017. I'm aiming for, that roughly 28 to 29,000, I'm guessing. That's about midpoint. So, and with, after all these other incentives. Now, some of the sales really may or may not know about these other incentives, because some of these you have to qualify for. In fact, there's other ones like the Farm Association, which is pretty interesting. If you are part of that association, you get another $500 or something. But I didn't want to go through all that stuff because it was impromptu. I just went in there to test drive and see how much it would cost. I knew that June of 2016, there would have been an approximate chance of getting it at that price. So based on the market trends, and also on other trends. No, based on the timing of the year, market trends, because another factor was that may be able to get to a lower price point was because of gas prices. Gas prices had risen really high in 2015, and it started dropping. Sorry guys, this is really slow, but let me put some alcohol here. Alcohol makes it go faster. So what happened was that in the summer of 2016, oil prices went crazy low. So crazy low meaning it went down to about, from California, it went down to about, when it was crazy high, at about almost $4 a gallon, to basically about $2 a gallon, or $2.30 or something a gallon in California, Southern California, LA. And that is cheap, so that affected Volt sales. So basically a lot of people weren't buying Volts, they were buying big SUVs and trucks again. So they weren't really selling too many Volts anyways. I was checking, before I even went to these dealerships, I actually checked their inventory and see if they actually had the one I want, the color and the type, with the options or whatever. And I was looking for a base model, so there'd be plenty. But before I went there, I saw that each of the dealerships had about 2 or 3 of them. I just wanted a silver one that has LT, that has base stuff, maybe even with a comfort package, whatever. But it was an option. I was pricing it based on that. But I was pricing based on the LT base model. But they had 2 or 3 of them, and they had probably more coming in. So it's like no problem. They have plenty. It's like a fleet vehicle at that point. But yeah, I knew that HOV, price gases were low. There was all these market factors that were saying, hey, it's a great time to buy now because no one's going to really want to buy a Volt, at this point. So that's why I said, perfect. I'll just go there now. Went there just for fun and basically talked to them a bit, and within 20 minutes after talking and doing a test show for about 10, 20 minutes, and then talked to them, it's like, hey, so this is what I want to pay, and this is would you guys do this? And can you just bring it to your manager and just check and see? Of course, was there back and forth? Yeah, probably a little, but it lasted less than a minute because I said, I don't really need it. And basically, if you could do it, that's great. We both win-win here. If we can't, then it's fine too. No harm, no loss. I'll come back in about another couple of months, the December time. So that's how my game plan was. Basically summer. Then if it didn't work out, I just wait till December and then come back and get it, because I had no need to get a new car other than the fact that my younger brother needed my Honda Civic, and I was gonna pass it down to him so I could actually get a new car or buy a used one or whatnot. No problem. So that's really how it went. There's plenty of these market factors that affected it, which is great, great for the consumer at that time. So from a $34,000 car, here's all the incentives that got added up to it. And this is a really bad way to erase stuff. This dry eraser stuff doesn't really work very well. So 34,000, and then what they do is that, and here's the thing that you have to know about: 34,000 licensing fees and stuff, and the discount. The discount they gave me roughly around at that point, I think it was almost $5,000 in discount. I think I could maybe push for more, but they were very, very generous, and I was very thankful to them. So it came down to about 29,000. So at 29,000, what they did was they added tax and fees to that, which was roughly $3,000. That's almost, I think it was about 11%, roughly. So it was like 3K. That's very general. And so it came down to about, I think it was 32K. Seriously, 32. It was like literally 32.80 or something. So that's how much it costs, before incentives. So what they do is they put in taxes and fees first on your original price. Then that's the price that they start mining incentives. So the GM incentives I qualified for was about $2,000. There was like $1,000 in customer cash for the Volt specific, and then 1,000K for I think it was something else, like a Conquest or something like that, or something. It was customer cash or Conquest, but you could have added together. And there was another one that I wanted, but it didn't qualify because it needed Equinox. It was like 1.5K for a loyalty for GM loyalty. And I have a GMC, van, but it didn't qualify because it only worked for an Equinox. So it was like, why? I don't understand that. But if you just bought an Equinox for like $20,000 or more, how would you have money to actually buy a Chevy Volt? So that was out of the question. It didn't qualify. Too bad. So minus 2K out of that. So total, this became 30,080, I think I paid out the door. So $30,000 out the door. Yay. I think that was a great deal, because at 30,000, that's when I start using my other incentives, the federal incentives. So that's with the tax incentives, the 30K becomes, let's find some space here, 30K minus tax incentives is basically a 1.5K for California incentives, rebate, and a 7.5K for Fed. So that's $9,000. So that becomes a $21,000 car. Yay! $21,000 car. Like, again, that could have been, that's cheaper than getting a brand new BRZ or FRS, and basically it's the same cost as of a pricey Civic, to be honest. Civic's cost starts around anywhere from 18 to 20,000 something, or $25,000. I'm not sure why anyone would pay that much for a Civic, but usually I buy my cars at 20,000, and this hit the price point pretty well. It's right about 21,000. When I bought my Honda Civic Hybrid, it was a $26,000 car, and I still actually have the sticker for it, if I could find it. This is my Honda Civic Hybrid, 40 miles to a gallon. It was 22,600 something, but it was 23,000 something, but plus like a $2,000 dealer markup or something. It was like roughly 26. They wanted about 26,000 for it, and I said, no, not really. Again, this was in 2008. So in 2008, same thing happened. Gas was like $2 a gallon in California, and same thing. Gas price was low. No one was buying hybrids, and it was the perfect time to buy a hybrid and get high MPG. So roughly, I got the same MPG. I'll probably make another video based on, does this make sense? Paying $30,000, or actually more like 21,000, and and basically getting the MPG of 40 miles a gallon. Even for the Chevy Volt, my MPG is close to 42 miles to a gallon for gas, and with that 53 miles of electric, but I could easily get 60 out of that. So I think it's worth it, to be honest. Yeah. And so anyways, long story short, it became down to a $21,000 car, which is great. And then I still need to fill out the forms for the California Clean Air Rebate project, and also at the end of the year do my taxes and get the $7,500 back. So long story short, it's not bad, to be honest. It's actually very, very cool. For financing wise, so 21K is basically at the end of the day, that's how much it costs after all your discounts and taxes and everything else like that. So that's financing. This was another fun one. So this was all cost. It could be negotiated based on market value and stuff. And now that it really depends on how you negotiate, how you come up. Be nice. They're trying to make a living. At the same time, be ready to be cordial. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Just be upfront about it. About what price point you want and stuff, and what the market has and other people are selling and buying it for, because they want your business. Any dealership wants your business, whether you're in LA, Northridge, or Northern California, Southern California. I basically searched Northern and Southern California because I traveled back and forth there, and sure, they had other deals. In fact, most people who buy a Chevy Volt is probably gonna lease it. They're not gonna buy it, which for me never works because I drive a lot of miles. In terms of leases, at that time they had a $200 lease for 10,000 miles. I think 10,000 miles a year, and that was like, or it was 250 or 250 for 12 or something like that. It was ridiculously low with the incentives. So it was really cool. but I didn't do it because I typically drive about 25 to 30,000 miles a year. So no way I'm gonna lease it, especially when you still have to put a small down on it, or probably some people actually didn't have to pay it down because they used their incentives to buy it. But it was roughly around 200 to 250 or even $300 for like a 15-year lease. And most people lease, Chevy Volts or any other alternative vehicle. The reason why is because they're afraid of the battery or whatever. And if you minus out the gas prices, you save about $100 of gas every month. You're virtually getting this thing. You're just paying $100 to use the car, which is not bad. Most people who have a short, drive or commute, these are perfect for them as a primary or secondary vehicle. So I could totally see why people lease. And if I could do that miles, I would lease too, because I'll save a lot of money. To be honest, it's only $200 a month or even $300 a month. It's very affordable, and half of that money is going to be back in savings in gas. So I would totally lease, but I drive way too much to lease. So oh well, no biggie. So I didn't go that route. The finance lady did tell me about the leases and stuff, but I didn't need to do it because I knew I was going to drive up to Northern California and Southern California so often and do hikes and all this other fun stuff that it really didn't matter. So long story short, I bought it. So how did I finance this thing? It's $30,000, right? So the finance, after all the fun negotiation and stuff, for $30,000, I asked the finance person. She was really kind, and she basically, was going to run my credit report. And instead of that, I told her, hey, I did this ahead of time, and this is not the first time I'm at the rodeo, and to do this stuff. So what I did was actually asked her, what are your best rates? Basically, and the best rate she gave me was about, I think, a 2 to 3% on super credit, a super high credit rating. And I thought, that's not bad, to be honest, because normally what I do is I basically ask the finance guy or gal, what's the best rate they could offer. Usually, if they have a manufacturer one, like let's say GM or Honda, had their own financing company, gave like 0.9%, 0.09%, or a 0% financing, even with the incentives, plus incentives. So I'll say, yeah, go ahead, give me the 0% or the 9%, and just do it that way, and just finance it all. And that way I know that, it's taken care of, right? But she offered about 2 to 3%, and at the lowest rate, and I thought, not good enough. So beforehand, what you do is you basically go to a credit union. So the credit union, your local credit union, will probably offer up at anywhere from, I guess, 0.9% all the way to probably 5% on an auto loan for new autos. So it depends on your credit union, but mine, I basically went to my credit union first and just say, hey, how much can you guys offer? And had it, they just basically give you a blank check that has a certain value on it that that you could write in yourself. So the credit union that my credit union basically gave it to me for 1.5, I think 59%, which I thought was fine. So I had it in the ready. So I had my check ready just in case they offered 0%. I would go with the 0%, but they didn't. So basically, I just went with my 1.5% from the federal credit union, from a credit union local, which is great. So, long story short, I didn't need to get any other warranties or anything like that because the warranties that they offered was roughly. They just added another year to it and another 10,000 or something miles. It didn't really make sense because we already know that the warranty coverage on the Chevy Volt already has pretty standard warranties in terms of the powertrain and stuff. And I just didn't think I even needed it. They even offered like another roadside assistance warranty, which I thought was a joke. But long story short, I didn't need the extra warranties because I easily passed with driving 15 to 20,000 or even 30,000 miles a year for mine, those warranties wouldn't even make it past it. And I'm gonna pass, like, usually I drive about 200K miles for all my cars, right? I don't really I keep my cars for a long time. But anyways, long story short, I used my own financing from the credit union, and that's much more affordable. It came down to about, I think, around nearly 500 something bucks a month plus, I think. I think it's close to 600. But it doesn't matter because, you know, I'm putting so many miles in, it's absolutely worth it. I think it's a worthwhile car. Did the same when I had the Honda as well. It's, I think I financed it for 4 years or something like that. So it's all good. 4 years or so, but I don't have the paperwork for it. I still have it somewhere, but I didn't take that out. So that being said, I guess the last part is like, how come if a low-income person wanted to get a Chevy Volt or alternate vehicle in California, and some other states, you're kind of in pretty good luck because they actually have some programs for low-income folks, or because they want to improve like the air quality. So I'm gonna put the links down below, but they basically have like $4,000 or $5,000 or a few $1,000 in incentives. So even if you don't make that the tax bracket that actually qualifies for the $7,500, or even the one, if you don't make that tax bracket amount to save that $7,500, there are other low income ones that actually could apply the California incentives and rebates to. If you, I think there's certain qualifications. You have to basically turn in your older vehicle, and I think it's like a vehicle turn-in program where you turn in your high smog vehicle for, you know, for incentive to buy a alternative vehicle, whether it's a plug-in or a Chevy Volt or alternative vehicle. And I'll put the links down there. There's actually pretty interesting sites. I didn't qualify at all because I'm a middle income person, and I would have loved to have saved more money, but because their incentives are even better than my $1,500 I got. They got up close to like 3,000 or 4,000, I think, or more. So, but they're able to actually buy a used Volt or a used alternative vehicle, at a pretty good discount. So if you think about it, if you got a 2013 Chevy Volt used, right, it's around in Southern California anywhere from $12,000 to $13,000, or actually no, probably more than that now, or less than that now. That's probably around 16K, right, depending on what you get or whatever, in the market. And basically, I think that incentive program basically offered up like $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000, and it was like $1,000 to $7,000 in incentives. So you just cut the price in half for these used cars, the used Chevy Volts and other alternate vehicles. They're all alternate vehicles. But yeah, it's actually pretty awesome. I thought that was pretty nifty of them. But who knows how much when they run out of money or stuff. But yeah, if they ran out of money, then oh well, can't do it. But that's why I really moved quickly to actually get the Chevy Volt in 2016 summer, because I knew that even though they may not have had the California incentive, I still want to make sure I get the federal one before the election and stuff. I didn't know if the election actually impact that federal incentives or not. So, or heck, I just want to make sure I get it before anything major changes, and I could still get the tax rebate. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I kind of rambled on a little bit more than I had, and but I hope this helps. And I got a few people asking me, both at work and also at also on the online, and PM'd and stuff. Like, I was planning to do this video earlier, but I never had time to do it. So since I had a little bit of time now, I figured I'd just go over it really quick. But thanks for watching, guys. Of course, please subscribe. And if I could write this. Anywho, subscribe, leave comments, let me know what you want, to do down in the comment section. This is really low tech, but low tech is simple, and that's most of the time that's what it is. Simple is good. Anyways, guys, have a good one. Let me know what you want to talk about next time about the Chevy Volt or anything else. But thank you. Please subscribe. Love you guys. Bye.